Neon lights followed me everywhere I went. I drove across the countryside of Nevada, heading out east into the lone, empty desert, on winding roads bare of any other drivers. The desert night was cool, and I let it breeze through my windows as I stared at the millions of shining stars above. I was in the night, driving without a sense of direction ever since I left my home to experience something extraordinary. That might have meant driving alone in the loneliest parts of the United States, but for me, it was perfect. The radio was silent, as my headlights slowly illuminated someone on the side of the road, and I almost swerved out of the way preemptively, thinking it must have been someone trying to rob me. As I slowed down and saw the person, I realized it was a woman, sticking her thumb out, holding a suitcase and standing beside the road as she flagged me down. I slowly pulled over onto the side of the road, rolling down my passenger side window. "Are you lost?" I asked. "Or a hitchhiker?"
"Hitchhiker's a rough term,"
she said.
"I'd prefer to be called a traveler. Mind if I join you?"
"It'd be fine," I said, unlocking the door as she sat beside me. I got a good look at the girl and realized she was my age, but looked a few years older. She had the widest, smoothest hair I'd ever seen. It seemed natural, tied into a half bun, and she wore round, cute dark glasses over her bright purple eyes. She was wearing a tracksuit and necklace, and I noticed she had tan, shining skin. She had some sort of accent, an unrecognizable way of speaking that made her voice sound like a smooth, slow echo.
"You're not some kind of serial killer, right?"
She laughed nervously.
"I've never really done this before. I thought I'd have to wait all week to flag someone down."
"I guess today's your lucky day." I shrugged, continuing to drive. "What were you doing out here?"
"Got stranded. I didn't want to go as far as I could, so I waited."
"Where are you going?" I asked.
"Same direction you are. The road barely veers off." "Why were you driving this late?"
"I just wanted to clear my head," I replied. "A lot's been going on."
"I get it,"
she said.
"I never got your name."
"Lane," I replied.
"Lane. That's interesting. I'm Angel."
"Where are you from?" I asked.
"Not from around here."
she said.
"What about you?"
"The Sunshine State," I replied. "It ain't so sunny over there." She chuckled.
"I hear it's not like it is in the movies."
We talked well beyond the hour the sun had set, as we spotted a homey-looking motel on the side of the road, its neon lights blinking and humming softly in the night, with a 24/7 sign half operating.
"Let's stay there for the night. If that's fine with you, I guess."
"The motel?" I asked. "It looks pretty run down,"
"Looks cozy, really.
Angel said.
Or do you usually sleep in the car?"
I sighed as I slowly pulled into the driveway, walking out and stretching as I saw how tall Angel was. She was only about 5'4", but had this feeling, an aura surrounding her that made her seem, or feel, bigger than she really was. Was it comfort or anxiety? I still have no idea.
"I'll pay,"
Angel said, as we walked up to the receptionist's desk.
"It was my idea anyway."
"It's fine. It's my treat," I said, pulling out a few bills I stuffed into my pocket.
"Thank you."
I paid for our room as the lady at the front desk pointed to a door on the first floor, down the hall as I shuffled inside, relieved to find no cockroaches skittering about. "It's clean enough," I said. "There's only one bed. You want me to sleep on the couch?"
"Lane, you're too nice sometimes. If anyone should snooze on the couch, it's me. You've been so generous. Unless you just wanted to, sleep with me."
My face turned red as I chuckled. "No, it's not that, really. I mean, you look great. A mysterious woman in the night. But truth is, I've just been feeling a bit lonely on my trip. I wanted a buddy along for the ride, and you're nice to talk to."
"Aw, thank you."
Angel said.
"Really, I'll make up for it sometime. Does the TV work?"
Sure. I'm not really up for a movie tonight, though. Give it a minute. I can download something on the phone for us tomorrow?
Sounds great to me.
Angel replied.
I'm pretty exhausted myself. I was out in the desert all night.
I lied down beside her as she passed out, but I stayed up for a few more minutes, looking at yet another unfamiliar cold ceiling. Who was she? Why was she so friendly with me? I couldn't help but sense an ulterior motive, but the company was welcome, and I assumed she would have killed me by now if she had intended to. No, she was... I woke up very slowly. It was the dead of night, but I noticed the window was open, letting in the cold desert air as I sighed and prepared to get up. My blood turned into ice as I stood up, feeling fear and confusion beyond anything I had ever experienced in my life. In the darkest corner of the room, standing perfectly still, was a dark, unmoving figure that appeared humanoid, but hard to make out in the darkness. Its head scraped the ceiling. It was so fucking tall and gangly looking. I slowly turned to Angel, who was still sleeping, softly snoring as she sprawled out on the bedsheet. Her eyes suddenly shot open, and when they stared into me, I saw this primal instinct in them I had never seen in Angel before. And even though we only knew each other for less than 24 hours, it scared me. She stared right into my eyes, then her eyes drifted to the shape in the room, and she put a finger on my lip before all hell broke loose. Angel jumped out of the bed faster than I could see, moving towards the monster. The lights flickered, as everything exploded into action. As the lights turned on and off, I could see Angel's face change. In between the glimpses of light, I saw her entire head open up into dozens of petal-like jaws snapping shut, filled with tentacles and rotating rows of sharp, needle-like teeth as she wrestled with the figure, which seemed to phase in and out of reality. What the fuck? Angel pushed the figure into the wall as it crumbled, and the fight broke out outside of the motel, as Angel's jaw ripped and tore at the creature's dark, gooey flesh until it stopped moving. What the fuck? I said, slowly backing up. Angel, or what I thought was her, was on all fours like an animal, and slowly stood up as the pieces of her face and neck closed up and reverted back to normal, as she started to approach me. What the fuck? Get the fuck away from me! I yelled, backing into the wall as I fumbled for the doorknob, sliding open as I ran down the hallway.
Lane, wait!
I heard her say. As I ran out of the motel, I could see blood splattering the walls along with a few limbs, and the decapitated corpse of the receptionist. I guess we weren't first pickings. I jumped into my car, fumbling for my keys when I realized I had left them in the fucking motel. As I locked my doors and hid under my dashboard, I could hear Angel's footsteps slowly approaching as she talked in her calm, soothing voice.
It's just me. I won't hurt you. Please get out of the car.
What the fuck are you? I asked. Don't come near me. Don't fucking come near me. Holy shit. She was holding my keys and looked as normal as ever as she unlocked my car, and I jumped into the passenger seat and ran out on the opposite side of the car, keeping the car in between us. What the fuck was that just now? I yelled. I saw your whole face open up like a flower. You had teeth and tentacles and shit coming out of your throat. What the fuck?
Just calm down.
Angel pleaded.
Please? I'm coming over to your side of the car. Slowly. Don't run. You can trust me.
I watched her walk towards me as I leapt for the passenger seat door, swinging it open as I pulled the pistol out of the glove compartment and turned the safety off, before I pointed it at her from 10 feet away.
Just calm down. Seriously. It's just me, Angel.
No way, I said. There's no fucking way that was real. You're not real.
Put the gun down. Just don't shoot me.
Angel sighed.
Let's just get back in the car and get out of here. This entire place will be swarming in a few minutes.
My mind went blank as I fired 2 shots, missing one, but hitting her neck, taking a piece of her flesh out as it instantly healed. Nerves, veins, and flesh wiring back together as she choked on her own blood.
Why? Why would you?
I ran towards the hotel, trying to remember where I had last put my keys, when I heard her yell out again.
Lane, wait!
Who are you? I asked, as I slowly put the pistol down. I'd seen how fast she moved. If she wanted to kill me now, I could blink, and she could have had my head bitten off, especially after I shot her. You won't hurt me? I yelled out, taking cover behind the door.
I won't. Trust me. Lane, please.
I'm sorry. I sighed.
I forgive you. Please?
Angel replied. I trust you, I said, throwing my pistol back into the car as I cautiously walked towards her. Let's just go. She handed me the keys as I started driving with the monster in the passenger seat. You seriously need to explain what the fuck that was, I said.
I'm not human,
Angel admitted after a while. I could see that. Your arms were bent backwards, and your whole face was fucked.
It's like that.
She groaned.
Humans might call me a monster, but I don't kill most humans.
Most? I questioned.
Yes, most.
Angel said.
I wouldn't hurt you.
What was that thing back there? I asked.
A demon.
Angel replied. Demon? Seriously? I asked. There's no way those are real. No chance in hell.
You just saw one with your own eyes. But I guess that's fair. Demons don't usually look like the thing you saw. Most demons are pretty. Or handsome. For most of the time they look just like normal humans. But they have distinguishing features.
Like what? I asked.
Red, pink, purple, or orange eyes. Strange markings in their eyeballs. White or pitch black hair. Pale porcelain skin. Sharp canine teeth. And tails. Some have horns, but they're usually far and few in between.
That almost perfectly describes you, I said.
Not exactly. I know for sure I'm not a demon. The demon you just saw is a corrupted demon, or known as a dying demon. When a demon's physical body is dead, its soul, basically its essence, is left to wither away and slowly die, also known as a demon's final death. They usually prevent this by forming pacts with a human friend by taking over a human body. But sometimes a dying demon can't find a host, and well, it loses all control. Goes on a bloody rampage, killing everything, until it finally bites the dust.
If demons are real, does that mean angels are too? I asked. Your name is Angel. I was wondering if...
No, I'm not an angel. That's just the name I chose for myself. But real angels are extremely rare, and you'll almost never see one. They're even more horrifying than demons. You have to understand that these aren't biblical demons, or demons that fit the mold of any religion or belief for that matter. They're a group of entities from another dimension that just fit the best description of a demon. Angels are more or less their counterparts. They're from the same species as far as I know, but they're completely different in appearance, behavior, and ability.
You're not either of those? I asked.
Lane, I would have told you if I was. That demon we saw was very, very rare. I don't even know if we stumbled on it by chance, or if it sensed another inhuman entity in the area.
You?
Yeah.
The sun was slowly rising, and I had yet to see another car pass by us as we continued to drive along the desert road. Could you do that again? I asked, nervously. With your head?
Don't freak out. Are you sure you want to see?
Angel asked, with a questioning look. I just need to believe my own eyes, I guess, I replied. Angel closed her mouth, and from the point of her nose, her entire head split into around 6 different pieces, like the petals of a flower, attached to her neck as they opened and closed, functioning like a jaw. My blood ran to ice as I saw the hundreds of razor-sharp teeth in her gaping maw and the tendrils snaking from her throat. The blood of the demon she had eaten and killed was still on the tip of her teeth. Her eyes shifted to her upper neck, and her face slowly reverted to normal as her jaws closed up, and her skin seemed to smooth over as her head shrunk, returning as it was.
Sorry, I just can't talk when my face is like that. Human mouths are different than that. Are you fine?
Yeah, I replied, still slightly in shock. That's just really fucking scary.
Sorry you had to see that, but if I wasn't there, you probably would have been killed.
Angel said. You're right. I never thanked you for that.
You don't need to, it's fine.
Angel said, tying her hair back up.
How far are we from the next town?
Like 30 minutes? I replied. I'm feeling hungry. Can we stop at a diner for breakfast and coffee? I barely got any sleep last night.
Yeah, sure. I'm feeling a bit hungry myself. I raided the cash register at the motel before we left, so I'll pay this time.
That's fucked, I said, but I don't think they would mind. We drove into a medium-sized town and stopped at a 50s-style diner at the edge of town. I got out of my car and stretched my legs for a bit before we sat down at a booth and ordered our food. You never answered my question earlier, I said, sipping on a cup of coffee. What are you? Angel seemed to think, tilting her head for a moment.
I'm not really sure myself, but where I'm going might take care of that question.
So, you're not human, and you don't know what you are?
Technically, I'm some sort of humanoid cryptid, right? I did a lot of research on the internet. I talked to some people. I posted pictures of myself in cryptid forums, pretending I stumbled across some kind of creature. No accurate answers so far, but people have said Wendigo, Skinwalker, Shapeshifter, the usual stuff.
And you're not any one of those. Our location would make that more plausible, I replied. Sorry, I just used to watch a lot of horror movies.
No, but I share a few characteristics. I write notes whenever I discover new abilities or features about myself. I know a lot more about demons, wendigos, shapeshifters, and others because I've run into a few of them across America, and none of them are like me. I also met a few friendly supernatural beings, and they've told me a lot.
Other supernatural beings exist? I asked.
A bit too much, I'd say.
The waiter gave me my omelet and served Angel her 2-pound medium rare steak with extra ketchup. Also, I meant to ask, how old are you?
Well, that's pretty rude.
Angel rolled her eyes. Sorry.
Since you asked, I don't know exactly how old, but I'd say I'm somewhere before 30. I'm pretty young compared to some other monsters. What about you?
Around that age. I feel old, I replied. I'm turning 27 soon. When I first saw you, I thought you were in your early 20s. You looked weirdly young.
That's a perk of being whatever I am,
she said.
The purple eyes make me stick out, though.
They look hypnotizing, I said.
I know. When I stare into my eyes in the mirror, I get a little dizzy. Try not to look too into them too much, you know? I usually wear a blindfold or sunglasses in public, unless it's night. The eyes attract too much attention.
Where are you headed anyway? I asked.
Geez, it's like we're playing 20 questions. I'm actually heading up to Canada around this time. I do odd jobs around the country. I'm supposed to go to this province called Ontario to pick up someone who I have to guard. I gotta be a bodyguard, basically.
And you didn't have a ride? Angel winced, shrugging.
I'm not exactly rich, so that's another reason I'm taking the job. By the way, seriously, thank you. You're too kind.
You're doing more of a favor to me, I said. I'd be traveling across the country alone if I didn't come across you. Who's this person you're supposed to be a bodyguard for? Are they a demon? Monster or something?
I don't exactly know yet. The guy who wanted me to do the work just knew who I was and promised me 6 figures, high 6 figures, to escort him or her up north. If you still want to drive me, and the person I'm supposed to guard, the guy wants me to take them up even more up north as the final destination.
Damn. It was my turn to wince. Nevada to North Canada? That's gotta be a week or 2 worth of driving. Hotels and food included. I don't think I'll have enough cash to make it to the end.
When I get paid for the job, I'll split a huge chunk with you. You know, I've done some crazy shit for quick cash in the past. Contract killings, other bodyguarding jobs, monster smuggling. I was even the reigning champion of an underground fighting tournament until it got shut down. But don't worry, this is the least risky thing I've ever done. Cash is hard to come by when you aren't human.
Well, that's a relief. We finished eating as we stood up, stretched, paid our bill, and left, without tipping, before I drove around to the nearest gas station, before we hit the road again in the early morning.
Speaking of,
Angel said, digging through her pockets to find the last few dollars needed to fill it up.
Don't you have a wife, family, or someone to come home to? This whole road trip seems like a big commitment.
Not really, I replied. I've just got a sister and a brother, but they live in other states, and my folks do too. I live alone, and around now I was looking for job opportunities. I finished pumping the gas as we peeled out of the station and headed for the nearest highway.
That's pretty sad.
Angel said. Hey, that's...
I'm just joking. Don't sweat it. I'll take care of you. You know.
Oh, sure. I sat there, speeding down the road and looking out the window, talking, even joking with an inhuman creature I had seen kill and eat a literal demon a few hours ago in a 3-star motel.
Do you have music?
In the car? I asked.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I never had a car, but I saw in movies that they have this thing they crank to play music on, like an iPod.
iPod? I said. You're really dating yourself here.
I know. So do you?
Yeah, I have something called Spotify. It has songs and podcasts you can download and listen to, especially for a long road trip like this. What do you usually listen to?
Romance songs.
I don't think I have any of that, but I'll play something I think would be similar. I set some random shitty Taylor Swift song to play next as we continued to drive.
What did you do before the road trip?
Angel asked. I was a Marine and got deployed for a few years, but that was a long time ago. I just quit as a gym teacher for my local high school to ride out into the country.
I've met a few Marines before,
Angel said.
I think people call them jarheads. I saw a movie titled that once.
Yeah, pretty accurate. Are you seeing anyone? I asked.
What do you mean?
Like, do you have a boyfriend?
Oh, no. I used to have one in high school, but that was just around the time I figured out what I was, and he saw...
Wait, you went to high school? I whistled. Dude must have been pretty freaked out.
I did, but just for a few years. Only time I even went to school. I usually hopped around states, but I managed to get myself a part-time job, and I went to high school, just for the experience. The guy was a real nerd. He loved to work out and draw. It was fun, until a cougar interrupted us on a date, and my entire head suddenly, instinctively opened up in front of him.
Tough breakup, I replied, handing her my phone. You know, you said you went to high school. When did you first notice you were different?
I was in my later middle school years, I think. I realized there was something about me different from other people. And I figured out my parents weren't really my parents. It was really sketchy, so I ran away and hopped from state to state ever since.
Sorry to hear that, I said. I really misjudged you back there. At first, I thought you were a siren or something trying to lure me in and kill me. But you're pretty nice. Also, when we reach the border, you have a passport, right? Angel groaned.
No. I never bothered to get one. We could just sneak across the border? Through the forest?
Their security is really good, I said. I'm a former U.S. Marine, so it'll look really bad if I'm caught moving with a lady across the border.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Angel sighed. Hey, this is going to sound random, but are you bulletproof?
I don't know for sure,
Angel said.
I've fallen off a 6-story building without any damage, and I've been stabbed by other monsters, but I don't think I got shot. Ever.
That's interesting, I replied. You know, I'm really sorry for pointing a gun at you earlier. It was pretty shitty for me to do that. She put her hand on my shoulder as she laughed.
It's fine, really. That's the same reaction my ex had when my entire head opened up. I'm just glad you didn't.
Would you have killed me if I didn't stop shooting?
That's a tough one.
My blood ran cold. Could I still trust her? Of fucking course I could. If someone shot me, I knew damn well I'd blow their head off. So, I asked.
Probably not, but I would have kicked your butt for doing it.
I sighed with relief. Do you trust me?
Yeah, I do.
Same. But you really have to understand, I never even knew monsters and demons and freaky shit existed until last night, and it's a pretty big shock to the system. Still, I think you're kinder than most human girls I've met.
You weren't bothered by me eating the demon?
No, I've seen worse. Way worse. Men are far worse than monsters. It's a different kind of evil, especially in war. We sat in silence for a while, as I hummed to the tune of the radio when I saw the iconic Las Vegas billboard as we entered the city. As I did, I noticed an extremely off-putting sight. Dozens of unmarked cop cars, Humvees, and vans were parked off the side of the road in the entrance, and I was sure they were monitoring every car that passed through. It looked like some kind of checkpoint. But we were in the middle of Las Vegas, not the inner city of fucking Fallujah. Holy shit, I said as we slowed, passing by. What's up with those guys?
They're agents,
Angel replied, instantly sinking into her seat. Agents? Feds? I asked, as we passed flawlessly and entered the city.
No, not the FBI. They're higher up. They're called Dozak. You're in the military, right?
Marines, infantry, I replied.
Yes, they're like a hybrid between a hidden branch of the military and an intelligence agency like the CIA. They're a paramilitary group directly managed by the U.S. government. They have more power and jurisdiction over any other law enforcement or military organization in the country. DOSACT stands for Department of Supernatural and Cryptozoological Defense.
I was picking up quickly. The DOSACD. They're not a branch of the military, but they aren't an intelligence agency either.
No, they're more like a separate organization, directly partnered and funded with both the military and government.
How high up would you have to be in the military to even know about them? I asked.
I don't think anyone in the military even knows they exist, even generals. Only the top brass would know. Though, I hear they mostly recruit out of Tier 1 units and secretive task forces.
How do you know about all of this? I asked.
They're well feared across the supernatural encrypted community. DOSAC's main objective is to basically wipe out any hostile supernatural or paranormal entity out there. I didn't know about them until I started running into other monsters, so I heard about them a ton. I even got to see them in action sometimes.
The checkpoint was passed. How did you know they were part of this group? I asked. Angel hummed.
I heard it from a shapeshifter once. But any vehicle owned by DOSAC has a scratch in the paint exactly 2 inches above their tire rims. They're all the same shape, same color, and size.
Holy shit, they'd basically be invisible. I said. You have a good eye.
They do too.
She said.
We're lucky they didn't pull us over. If they're out in public like this, something must be going on in the city. They don't want someone in the city to leave.
It doesn't concern us anyway, I said. We'll just stop by here to fill up on gas and grab lunch. We've been driving for hours, Angel.
Oh, right.
She said.
What do you want to eat?
I'm fine with anything, so let's just go to a buffet.
Sounds neat.
I looked for the closest buffet in the packed city, and I parked next to one beside a gigantic hotel. We walked in and paid for ourselves, while Angel put on her sunglasses to hide her purple eyes, which would be a dead giveaway. We sat down after grabbing our food as we talked, discussing our plan for the week and what we would do when we arrived. Weirdly, Angel looked really good, which helped me put at ease from the fact she was, said by herself, a monster. As a person, entity, she was nice enough and polite, but I knew in a pinch she could bite a head or two off and help me with a getaway. Where do you want to stay tonight? I asked, showing her a few hotels on our route on my phone.
A fancier place, hopefully.
She said.
I don't really want to stay in a weird, dingy motel like that again.
Oh, I thought you liked it. I replied.
I was just being nice. Because it's you.
I rolled my eyes. I stopped, as I looked behind Angel, at another table where a guy was mean-mugging the shit out of us. There were 2 guys and a girl sitting one table over. The 2 dudes looked rough as hell. One guy was a tall, muscular blonde guy, with a buzz cut and scars all over his face, and the other was a shorter, lean guy, with long hair and tattoos covering his entire body. The girl looked oddly similar, yet different, to Angel. She had pale skin, sharp canines, with red eyes, and white hair. Don't look, but the table behind us is staring at us, I said, while eating my food, smiling and pretending to continue the conversation.
Go to the washroom, pass their table, and bump into one of them by accident. Try to see what's up.
Angel whispered. Good idea, I replied. I stood up and pretended to stuff my napkins into my pockets as I walked right by their table. The blonde guy tapped my arm right as I passed.
Hey, bring your chairs over. Sit with us,
he said. Do I know you? I asked.
No, but we would like to talk to you. Trust me. Do it quietly.
I nodded and walked back to our table as I gestured to the group behind Angel. And we stood up, moving our chairs and food over to their table.
Hi,
Angel said. What did you want to bring up? I asked. A long-haired guy was sizing me up like a piece of meat and staring at the bulge I had under my jacket, my pistol tucked away in its holster.
You're not a demon, are you?
The blonde-haired guy asked straight up. My blood turned to ice. Angel, do you know these guys?
She's not a fucking demon, dumbass.
The girl said to him.
I told you that 1,000 times already.
Sorry about my friend. Let me rephrase that. You're not a human, are you?
The man said. Angel slowly took off her sunglasses as she stared at me with her piercing purple eyes.
They know. It's fine.
Angel said, before turning to the man.
No, I'm not. I don't think you guys are regular dudes either.
Purple eyes. Definitely not a demon.
The tatted up long-haired guy said. Answer her question. I snapped. The guy scoffed, before nudging the blonde-haired man.
Just say it already.
I'm Dagon.
The blonde dude said.
The guy with the tattoos is Ripley, and our friend here is Cerberus.
I glanced at Angel, who still seemed to be confused. She totally knew something was off, but at the same time, she had no idea who these guys were.
Hi, I'm Angel.
Angel said. I'm Lane, I said.
So, she's a demon.
Ripley said, gesturing to the girl with the white hair and red eyes. Angel just killed a demon, I added.
Cerberus thought your friend wasn't normal. I mean, we can tell you're a normal guy, but she has an aura. What species are you, really?
I don't know myself.
Angel admitted.
You're not a shapeshifter either. So you must have some cryptid genetics?
She's right.
Ripley whistled. Just spit it, I said. What do you guys want?
We want to know what you're doing in the city.
Ripley confessed.
We're fugitives. We just escaped from a prison, and we were looking for some other escaped inmates who might be trapped in the city. I knew Angel was never an inmate, but she's definitely not human. So I wanted to know what she was doing in the city.
We're passing through,
Angel said. I shifted in my seat as I noticed that the demon, Cerberus, had the tip of her tail sticking out of her pants.
For what?
Ripley asked. Angel and I are heading up to Canada. We're going for a job. Protection.
Is there a roadblock into the city?
Yeah, I said. A convoy of Humvees and pickups at the major exits and entrances. They're looking for you, right?
Fuck, I thought so. Here, you're on the way to Canada, so going northeast? Could you do us a favor?
I glanced at Angel. Do we have the time?
I don't know, you guys.
She said.
What's in it for us?
$50,000 in cash, when you get there.
Get where? Dagon handed me a thick stack of paper, with pages upon pages of notes, handwritten content, and photos.
Hey, Marine, take this to a property in northern Missouri. I wrote down the coordinates on the front page of the notes. When you get there, tell them that Dagon sent you. Hand them over the papers and they'll give you $50,000 right away.
What's in the papers?
I'm letting a couple of friends know to pull together resources that are going to help us to get the fuck out of here. It's on the way, so it's not too big of a hassle, right?
Angel and I glanced at each other.
Sure, it should be fine.
Angel said. Guess there's no harm.
Good luck getting out of here.
We said.
Try to get the papers there within a few days.
Ripley yelled out as we finished up and left. Jesus, what a coincidence, I said, walking back to the car. Is that what a real demon looks like? I mean, compared to the thing you ate at the hotel, she was so...
What?
Angel asked, raising an eyebrow. Nothing. Never mind. Are you sure about this?
I don't know them.
Angel said, as we got in the car and started.
But the one with the long hair, Ripley, I recognize that nickname. I've heard of him. Ripley's other nickname was the Swordsman. He used to serve this gigantic, ancient god in the ocean hundreds of years ago.
And the other two?
Never seen them before. But I knew she was a demon the second I saw her. The shredded blonde guy looks a bit more inconspicuous. Nothing really gave him away as superhuman. But something's off about him.
I sighed, wiping sweat off my brow as I flipped through the stack of papers they gave me. $50,000 just to hand this over. Wow, I muttered. You sure it won't get in the way of your thing?
Lane, it's fine. Really, we could use that extra cash for gas, new clothes, and food. I'm running pretty low myself. I'm not sure if school gym teachers are paid well.
I wish, I said. I never thought of it, but we're traveling the country together. What are we going to do when we reach the end?
Depending on how it goes. Do you want to stick around? I travel a bit, usually hitchhike and that kind of thing.
Angel said. I wouldn't mind, I replied.
But if something goes bad, we might have to say goodbye.
My blood ran cold. What do you mean? She smiled.
I'd hate to drag you into anything you wouldn't want to be involved in.
I've been with you since, well, the start, I replied, staring at the road. I'll stick around until the end. Her eyes widened, and we sat in silence for a bit.
No one's ever said that before. It's been a while since I've found a good friend.
Same here, I sighed. Glad to be with you for this trip. We left Las Vegas, and I entered the coordinates to the property as a stop, and we were back on the interstate, driving along.
When do you think we'll arrive?
Into Canada or the side thing? I asked. GPS says we should be heading into Tennessee in a few days of driving, and we should get into Canada in around a week, counting sleeping and food.
To be fair, I don't really know our final destination. Since we have to drive whoever it is I'm supposed to escort to their final destination.
The anticipation kills me, I chuckled.